Well, Jake, Bauer and Pitsea on Saturday, a trip to Essex. What are your thoughts going into that one?
Yeah, an interesting one. They've had a sort of a mixed bag of results. Never come across them personally myself. I mean, obviously, really looking forward to it. Had the scouting report. I've noticed they've had a couple of really good results at home. So obviously, going to be a danger and a threat. And we need to be mentally and physically right to continue our run.
Yeah, because you can look at a league table, can't you? And you say, well, we're top of the table at the moment. They're obviously at the bottom there. But these are dangerous sort of games, aren't they? And we've actually discovered that because we played a couple of teams down at the bottom, and they've actually given us, we've just got over the line in a couple of.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, every result and performance is really difficult. I mean, everyone's beating everyone. I mean, obviously, teams go through good bits of form and poor bits of form. Obviously, Lewes started the season like really really well, and they come off a little bit, and other teams are coming stronger. We've been fortunate enough to be relatively stable throughout the 15 games. Obviously, we've had some really good performances, some average performances, and some poor performances. But even in them games where we haven't been at our best, we've managed to pick up points, which is obviously really important. As the season progresses, but I really want to get back on the front foot and see if we can start games a little bit stronger.
Yeah, because that's been a little bit of concern, isn't it? Not starting well in the first half and obviously coming on strong in the second half. I know that's the way we sort of play, but you don't want to be chasing games, do you?
No, we don't, and we have been a little bit fortunate with a couple of results regarding performance-wise, but it was clear and obvious from very early on. We've got a lot of goals on our side, so when you've got that and you've got different boys scoring goals, we're always going to be a threat. And the last few games, the forward boys have sort of really got us through some sticky patches, scoring at sort of good times in games.
Now, one of the pleasing things, of course, is this unbeaten run in the league. I mean, it's 8 matches now unbeaten, which is can't remember the last time Dover went 8 matches unbeaten, and of course, winning 7 of those. So, and football, we all know, is all about momentum, and when you get that momentum, it can drive you to even greater heights.
Yeah, I mean, obviously last season we had the opposite, didn't we? Where I actually thought when I come in, it was a really difficult patch, and we weren't playing that bad, but we just kept losing, and you get on them runs, and a little bit similar to now. It just breeds confidence winning games. The boys are absolutely buzzing. They are absolutely loving it. It's a case of I know they can't wait to get together for training. And they're desperate to keep this run going, which obviously will have to stop and end at some point, and that will be the point where we'll see where we're really at, whether we can bounce straight back. But at the minute, yeah, we're really enjoying this run and looking forward to another 3 games this week coming up.
I mean, you mentioned the amount of goals that are in the side. I mean, we're scoring goals all over, which is very pleasing. But of course, we were keeping clean sheets and having not kept clean sheets, so we started to crack that. But a couple of games recently, we've been letting in 2 in each match.
I think the last game, obviously, we let in 2 from set pieces. The first one was a little bit disappointing. It was we were aware of their set pieces. I was a little bit disappointed in that. Again, but no, he's a great striker. He's, for 25 yards out, hit the underside of the crossbar and it's gone in. And obviously there was a mistake from Mitch, which is very unusual for the second. So yeah, I'm not too despondent. Teams aren't getting loads and loads of chances against us. Which is obviously really important to stay solid because, like I said before, generally the teams that concede the least amount of goals are the teams that go on to do very well in the leagues.
One of the things we've been fortunate with has been, not many injuries. We've been quite fortunate on the injury front. Obviously, we picked up a couple recently, but and obviously suspensions as well. And Alfie's out, isn't he, the next match? That's played a big part, hasn't it? But I suppose when you get to this stage of the season, this is when you do pick up injuries and suspensions start to happen, and that's when you're going to have to fall onto the squad.
Yeah, we have been fortunate, but also, like I stated before, I learned the hard way, the discipline way as a player. Discipline is massive, and I've stressed it from day one. Really disappointed in Alfie actually to pick up that booking, so unnecessary. I've made my point clear to him. But obviously Alfie's Alfie. It's difficult to change these type of boys' mentality, and he's just so passionate about it all. But, to get your fifth booking for kicking the ball away is something that hopefully he will learn from, because we don't want to be in the stage where he's doing the same thing and he picks up 10 bookings, and that has a knock-on effect for later on in the season. So hopefully the boys will continue to learn and understand how important it is, the discipline side of it. Injury side, again, we've recruited very young. None of the boys really have sort of come to us with historic previous injuries. And we don't overtrain them. And all the boys generally look after themselves. So, yeah, and obviously Joe Tennant picked up a little bit of a foot injury at Folkestone, and he trained last night actually for the first time, and so I haven't heard if there's a reaction from that, but I'm hoping he'll be back soon. And other than that, I think we're all good. Obviously, other than Kieran, who sort of come with us injured, hasn't his season hasn't started. He's had another little bit of a setback. So yeah, he just had to be patient really, and obviously listen to the medical advice, and hopefully he'll be back sort of later on in the new year.
Yeah, and of course, when Joe got injured, you'd signed Jacob Mensah, and he slotted straight in. What have you made of his performances so far? And of course, he hadn't played a lot of games before he came back here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the timing, couldn't have been better, could it, with Jacob? But I did and ah, because obviously we've got Jerry, who's done very well when he's had the opportunity. I just felt with Jacob, obviously, sort of knowing him, from last season. Obviously, we didn't want to lose him. He went off to Welling. He just offers that extra little bit of mobility, which I think maybe as defensive we're going to need. And he's come in, obviously fitted in really well, knowing majority of the boys. And done really well.
Of course, you have to manage, the squad. I mean, you mentioned there Jerry. Of course, he's been waiting patiently himself, and of course, Jacob comes in and he gets the nod over him. So, obviously, how do you keep sort of Jerry's head up as well? Because he is part of this squad, and he's a great character, and everyone likes him. And it's just unfortunate that he's not getting in the team at the moment.
Yeah, it is difficult. I don't like to work with a big squad. I like the togetherness. Obviously, I've said before that where I've been successful, the spirit and the togetherness has been a massive part of it. A lot bigger than sort of a lot of people probably realise. Yeah, and I feel a little bit sorry for Jerry. Because it probably was his opportunity to play. But the game where obviously Joe come out was Chatham away, and we had our scouting reports, and I'd gone and seen them personally, and Freddie Sears was doing very well up front. Just that extra mobility. So I just felt it was the right thing to do for that particular game, to put Jacob in. I was gutted for Jerry. He was gutted, obviously, but he's been an absolute model professional. He really has, and hopefully his opportunity will come up, and he'll take it. And like I say. And I said to the boys, and I think everyone's pretty aware, is like once you've got your shirt, it's yours really to keep, unless injuries or suspensions. Because I don't like to chop and change. I think the results have proven the last sort of 7-8 that a settled side really helps. So managing the squad is difficult, but I don't make decisions based on who we're playing as such. I like to stick with it, the boys, wrongly or rightly. There's other people do it differently, and that's fine. But that's the way we've gone so far. At least that way everyone knows where they stand. And when you do get an opportunity, there's not this huge pressure to have to perform to keep your shirt, because they're all good players. We could put out two sides really near enough that would be, if you played them against each other, it would be a very competitive game.
So, of course, on Tuesday, Jake, Lewes set off like an express train, didn't they, at the start of the season? Obviously dropped down a little bit. Obviously an ex-National League side, got a good setup down there. And another away game. I mean, we've had quite a few away games recently, so it must be pleasing actually how well we're doing on the road.
Yeah, we've done brilliant on the road. I think we're still undefeated on the road, aren't we? Obviously we got Bowers and Pitsea Saturday. Like I said, we've picked up some really good results at home. And then obviously we go to Lewes, who have done exceptionally well at home and are a really good side. We've really, they play a certain way. They have a lot of the ball, and they've got a lot of flair and a lot of mobility. Yeah, so again, it's going to be a big test for us to, hopefully get a result.
Yeah, and of course, a decent sized club as well. I mean, that's a club that, like ourselves, have been in the National League and have sort of hit some difficult times.
Yeah, I think a little bit similar to us. I think they're definitely on the up. They've got a new manager who's gone in and done very well. I think like ourselves, has gone down sort of slightly younger squad. Obviously, it's a good fan base down there. It's a great pitch. Yeah, and started really well. And yeah, good luck to them.
And in terms of the fans, it's good to see supporters so enthusiastic about the club and more coming through the turnstiles. It's been pleasing. Obviously, we want to try and get the numbers up a bit more, get it over that 1,000 mark. And what a great opportunity over the Christmas holidays as well to do that.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say, the fans that have been turning up have been in real good spirits. There's definitely a change of environment. There's definitely a lot of noise, and it's definitely helped. It's starting to feel like it, did back in the heyday. It really is. Unfortunately, you know, the figures, we've sort of let ourselves down a bit, haven't we, on a couple of games where our away form is a lot better than the home games. The games where we've had big crowds, we haven't done particularly well other than the Dartford game. But like I always say, you can't play brilliant every game. You're playing against a team that are trying to stop you. But we've scored a lot of goals, and if we want to progress, like the chairman said, we are going to need to increase the numbers through the gate. So again, I stress, to get yourself up there. People that haven't been there for a while, or even new fans, it'd be lovely to see you, and existing fans that I know you're really enjoying it. If you could sort of spread the word between friends and family. It is really going to make a massive difference if we can get this crowd up to 1,000. And then obviously, so importantly, is we need a fan base where understands that there is going to be some lows, and they sort of just stick with us, and keep turning up. Because if we want to progress this club again, obviously that's going to be a massive part of it.